What's up YouTube, it's Resonance, and in this video we will take a look at 7 very effective moves in Rocket League that are maybe a little bit easier to learn than, let's say, a ceiling musty double tap while eating cereal upside down. For these moves you pretty much don't need to be able to dribble at all, which is great because I want this video to be for all ranks. If you are not a beginner, these moves are still a very good choice to add to your bag of skills if you haven't already, since these are relatively safe and relatively easy to get consistent at. If you take a look at the timestamps and be like, I can already do all of those, then maybe stick around nonetheless, because I will also talk about in what situations or against what types of players these moves can be viable. Alright, enough of the intro, let's get into the video. First, let's talk about the hook shot. You can get a lot of power and height with the hook shot, which makes it very hard to save for the defender. There is no dodge required, which means that you are not completely out of position in case the shot is off target. To do the shot, you need to have the ball rolling and then get some space between you and the ball by swerving away, and finally you drive into the ball without dodging. That will chip the ball high towards goal. It is important that the ball is not rolling directly at the goal, because then when you hook into the ball, your shot will not be on target. Moving on to the next move, the bounce shot. Often after the kickoff or during the game, the ball bounces off the wall into the middle of the field, and with a bounce shot or a power shot you can get a lot of power on the ball. Theoretically it's easy. Immediately after the ball hits the floor, use your flip to dodge into the ball. Practically, this is probably one of the harder moves on the list, as it can be tricky in the beginning to get the timing and the angle right. However, if you can get the bounce shot off from many different angles, you will be guaranteed a lot of easy goals and lower ranked 1v1s. To practice those, use a hook shot to chip the ball against the side wall, then turn around, try to time the bounce right and hit it towards goal. Moving on to the next move, which is cut into flick. There are no advanced dribbling skills required for this move, however, if you do have those, it will be easier to execute. Push the ball along the side of the field, then you catch up next to the ball and cut into it and immediately flick it. You can either use a side flip or a front flip or a diagonal flip. Kind of depends on the situations and where your car is, but what is most important is for this move you need to have the ball rolling off target as well, as otherwise you will not be guiding it to the goal when you cut into it. The next move on the list I'll just call cut into pop. It's very similar to the previous one, with the difference that you double jump, which lowers the risk of sending the ball into the crossbar. These two last moves are really good if there is a defender behind you and you don't have time to get a dribble going and you just have to push it forward in order not to get demolished from behind. Obviously in a 1v1 there is no one behind you, but in a 2v2 or a 3v3 scenario that is likely the case. Moving on to fakes. Once you are playing at a rank where people cut into the ball and use hook shots and bounce shots to shoot, you can use that to your advantage and fake a hit. For that, you swerve away from the ball to get that run up that you would usually get when hitting a hook shot. But then right before hitting the ball, you hit the brakes or you swerve away. This works very well against players that always pre-jump against you, but be aware that some people are patient and don't dive into the challenge. In that case, you have to be ready to block the path towards your goal for the incoming 50-50. Alright, the next move is a little bit weird. I just call it, you let it roll at the goalie and then dunk it in. It's another safe way to score. You just let the ball roll towards your opponent, and when they try to 50-50 you just hit the brakes, which makes them pass the ball back to you, and then you can usually just hit it in the net pretty easily. This works best if your opponent is really close and you can kind of hide behind the ball, so they don't really know where you are and they want a 50-50, but then you don't go for the 50 and they end up just passing it to you. This can also happen directly in front of the goal. You just let it roll at them and wait for them to bot. The last move is the classic bump move. You get the ball to roll on target, then you speed ahead of the ball and bump. This is a really easy way to get a goal, and your opponent often doesn't expect it. It is important that you do this kind of quickly, as otherwise it is too easy for the opponent to dodge your bump, and if they successfully avoid you, it is pretty much guaranteed a goal for them in a 1v1. The smaller the distance between you and the ball, the lower the chances are for the defender to avoid you while still getting the save. Before you jump into a game and try all these moves out, I would recommend getting into free play and just setting up these shots for yourself. That is the most realistic way to practice these types of moves. Just a quick note, these moves all work very well against players that don't really challenge you and give you a lot of space. However, if your opponent shadows well and throws in some quick challenges combined with some fake challenges, it will be difficult to score on them by just using these moves. That's why I would recommend to work on carrying the ball on the hood of your car, as well as practicing controlling the ball with a bounce dribble. Beginner tutorials for dribbling and bounce dribbling will soon be on my channel as well, so if this video helped you out, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future uploads. If you want a video about a specific topic, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and take care.